Switch your thought process. Key thing to do. Just train. Every time you have a negative thought, you stop, don't dwell on it, acknowledge it, say hi, hey, and then let it go. Swap to a positive one and just start thinking of the positive version of that negative thought and focus on the positive one and smile with it. Because you've got to now come back with double, because if you put any emotion into this guy, you need to put some real positive influence into your new thought.
You're watching Young and Profiting Podcast on YouTube. Welcome to the show. I'm your host, Hala Taha, and on Young and Profiting Podcast, we investigate a new topic each week and interview some of the brightest minds in the world. Before we get started, hit the subscribe button and don't forget to click the bell icon to be notified every time we drop a new video.
Hey, Natasha, welcome to Young and Profiting Podcast.
Hi, Hala, how are you? Thank you so much for having me.
Of course. We were just chatting offline about, how well it feels like we know each other. We actually met each other on Clubhouse just 2 or 3 weeks ago. And I was telling you, I feel like I've spent more time with you than some of my best friends in the last 2-3 weeks. It's just so crazy how the world works.
I know. Isn't this nuts? I literally, talking to you, I'm like, you're like a friend. We keep having to say to each other, okay, after this one, because we do so much work together, we're like, after this, let's chat together and catch up. There's just so much to talk about when you meet a new friend. You just know.
Yeah, I know. It's so exciting. And honestly, guys, if you haven't heard of Natasha Grano, she is crushing it. She is a huge Instagram influencer. She has over 1 million followers. We're going to talk about how she grew that. She's a mindset coach. She's also a motivational speaker and is really killing it in that space, and a best-selling author. So we've got so much to talk about. But first, I want to talk about your childhood, because me and you are very similar in the fact that we love the limelight, right? We love being in the limelight. And a lot of the time, usually it's because you had a childhood where you weren't in the limelight or something along those lines. So I want to understand, what was Natasha like growing up? What were you like, from a child into an adult? And in a few words, but what was your childhood and growing up like for you?
That's such an interesting topic, Hannah. I love it. So my childhood was very colorful. I actually loved performing. I went to in my early days, in my little girl years, I was into dancing and singing and performing, and I did all of that. And then as I got bigger, I started getting into performing arts and into actually a lot of speaking. I would be the narrator for things. I would be the spokesperson for things at school, and then it led on, etc. And then my family during that time went through a divorce. And so what happened was I lost a lot of my confidence. And so it was kind of about building that back up, because I'd been through this really horrendous time in my life, and I had to continue putting on this front. And a lot gets built into your subconscious during those years. That's what I teach now, is how to eradicate self-limiting beliefs out of your subconscious mind to manifest what you want. But what was going on was I was suffering so much from all of the trauma that was going on, and I had to find ways to look after myself and protect myself. And that was what I used to do. I used to go and perform. I used to go and dance. I used to go and feel like a little star. And then it's interesting because that was the start of my journey, but it didn't look like this on a crescendo. If you had a graph going from the bottom to the top in a straight line, no, there was a huge dip in the middle about, we'll get into that.
Yeah. And so how about career wise? So you were into speaking, then your family had a divorce that kind of changed your trajectory a little bit, hurt your self-esteem. What did you want to be when you grew up? Did you have any idea?
So growing up, I knew that I wanted to do something that used my voice, because I have always loved speaking. I speak 5 languages, almost fluently, all of them. I really love using voice and speaking to people. So I knew that that was something I wanted to do, but really I had no idea. I thought actually I wanted to be a dancer for a while because I love to perform. And then I realized actually that's just who I am. That's just something that I can do as part of Natasha. But it wasn't my passion. It was only much later in life that in my mid to late 20s, so it's still super young to find your purpose, but that's when I found my real calling. I've always been studying everything that I teach now around mindset, around law of attraction, around anything to do with neuroscience and the brain and this sort of connect it to the woo-woo stuff, connecting it. I've always been interested in this stuff. And so the calling actually came later on.
I'm like smiling from ear to ear because this is the response that I literally give. When somebody asks me what I wanted to be when I grew up, I always say, I just knew it had something to do with my voice. Literally the words that come out of my mouth every single time, because I was a singer and I wanted to be a singer, but I didn't that kind of evolved into radio and podcasting. And so I always say that. So we have that in common. So funny. Okay. So you mentioned one kind of challenge in your life, and I know a huge challenge that came later on was after the birth of your son. So talk to us about what happened then and kind of how you got out of that bad situation.
So the birth of my son was the most incredible day of my life, and also it was very hard for me with what happened in the birth. But we'll just fast forward a tiny bit of time.
Okay.
The birth came, and it was the most euphoric time. That's meant to be the most euphoric time. But suddenly an illness hits me. So I'm completely bedbound for the next year. I can barely move because of the illness, which, by the way, for a lot of people wouldn't have had them bedbound. But the anxiety level is what takes it out of control. The heart medication I had to take while I was on it. It was an autoimmune disease, a very bad one that hit me real bad. And so I had to overcome it. But so I was now looking after a newborn baby, and now I've got this illness. Now I'm almost bedbound. Suddenly I'm going through a horrendous divorce, and my life is coming crashing down. Everything around me, everything I've built is just falling in on me. It was like being on this flying carpet in Aladdin and it being removed from underneath you. It was so scary. It was horrible. It was traumatic. And then I thought, my parents have been through a divorce. Now I'm going through a divorce. I mean, this is literally like 10 years apart. It was just like trauma. I was like, this is horrendous. But when pain hits you to tell you you're going in the wrong direction, whether it's physical, financial, emotional, or mental pain, or spiritual, whatever it is, you're going in the wrong direction. It's just a red light symbol. And so what happened to me? When the pain hit me, I knew, okay, something needs to change. This is not good. But now I'm going through a divorce. I'm bedbound. I've like lost all my money. Everything now has happened around me. I've moved back in with my parents. So imagine this broke, almost homeless, young, single mom. I mean, it couldn't be much worse. Who's not well. And then from that place is where my calling came. When you're at your lowest and you feel that you could die any day, you're having 3 panic attacks a day. And for anyone that knows who is suffering from anxiety in any way, even anxiety gets you hot and sweaty. Now multiply that into imagine what it would be like. Don't imagine it because it's just not worth it. And when I went through it, I could barely move. Whenever I would go out the house, I would have a panic attack. Just the thought of if something happened to me, it was like this awful cycle. And so from that place of being at my lowest, from that place of thinking like my life is never going to get better, that was where I realized it is going to get better and it's up to me. It's my choice. No more of the victim mentality. I either just live like this. I've lost my sparkle. I've lost this like inner sparkle that you can see right now, the inner sparkle that everybody loves about you, about me, your energy, your excitement for life. When that goes, you feel dead.
Yeah.
And I felt dead. And then after that is where I reignited that flame. And even if it would only flicker a tiny bit before the wind would come along and the next thing would happen. After that year of doing all my techniques and applying my amazing toolkit of techniques using my MBS method, I was able to heal myself.
Amazing. And so, I went through a similar thing when I was about 19. I had a really bad breakup, and that's when I found the law of attraction. And I actually got hooked on Abraham and Esther Hicks. I'm not sure if you know who they are, but I read all their books. I listened to all their stuff on repeat. And then literally that changed my life. I went from, average college kid to working at Hot 97, having the coolest job, starting a huge website. My whole life changed. So I want to know, did you have an influence on you that kind of introduced you to the law of attraction, or did you kind of figure this out on your own? How did you figure it all out?
So this is a combination of 3 things happened to me. One, when I was about 15 and going through my parents' divorce, when I was the victim of that, I started to look inward. And so that's when I found within myself that when we pray, we talk to God. And when we meditate, God talks to us. Or however you want to see it, the messages come to you. So in that place, I was able to start going online and looking and researching at mentors people who became my mentor, and getting myself a mentor. A few years later, I'd read a lot. I read all the books from The Secret, and I'm now friends with some of the authors from The Secret, which is such a beautiful thing. And
me too.
I'm actually talking tonight with one of them just for a catch up. So, this is amazing that these people who I once idolized and listened to their words, we're now working together. We now do stuff. It just shows how time shifts. And, when you raise your frequency to a certain place, you elevate to a certain place where you attract what you want. You attract things you never thought you could have in your existence. They just happen to be there because you're resonating with such a high frequency.
Yeah.
And so in answer to your question, I would study, I would read, I read books. Hence, I went on to write my book about the law of attraction. I actually watched a lot of, I'm not religious as such. I believe in the universe. I believe in God, but I actually watched a lot of programs and sort of stuff on YouTube. And I found Joel Osteen, who is amazing. I call him one of my mentors, my early mentors, and John Gray, these two. And John just came on my show, which is so incredible to think of. But these guys really were a part of saving me, I would say, in my earlier years when I really was lost, because they preach about spirituality versus religion. And that's what I liked. So I really enjoyed it. And it was really connecting and helpful. So that's where that went. But then I got into reading myself and books and studying and going through the black hole of YouTube where you just spiral downwards about how to get what you want, what not to do. And then it just went like this. And then I started seeing how I could do things. So by the age of 18, I had left school and within 6 months manifested my first amazing car that I wanted all these years. Now I look back on it and the thought of manifesting material stuff is so different for me now. I would never think of manifesting material. I barely do think of manifesting a material thing. It's always about something bigger, greater, something for the greater good of others. But back then I didn't have any idea about what true manifestation was. So I had this white Range Rover, and I just remember going, that's how it works.
Mm-hmm. My favorite thing to do was to manifest parking spots because I lived in New York. That's cool. Well, that's amazing. And I know you like studying. You just talked about studying about the law of attraction. Turns out you also studied to become an influencer. You studied Instagram and YouTube for 2 years before you actually took any action, which is incredible. And my research team tells me that in 2017, you bought an Instagram page that was, a decently popular fashion blogger, had 20,000 followers. You scaled that to 1 million followers. And so tell me, this is such a cool strategy. A lot of people start from scratch. You started from the bottom, but you had a little bit of a head start. So tell me about how you figured that out, why you decided you were going to take that approach.
So I love this question, Hala. This is one of my favorite to answer, because here's another part of who you are, right? Who I am, who anyone is. Once you get your vision clear of what you want to do. So for me, it was, I needed to grow a platform first and then inject my brand. So instead of looking at the industry like this, I disrupted it and looked at it horizontally instead. When you turn it on its head and you look at the pyramid upside down, you know that you need to have an audience before you sell. Otherwise, what the hell's the point in having a product and nobody to sell to?
Yeah.
So I knew I needed to grow my platform and then inject the brand. So I thought, okay, no. Nobody has time to be growing this page. So at the time, I was unwell and I didn't know what to do. So I decided to buy a page off a well-known blogger at the time. And I just took her page. She already had 50K followers or something. And I just took it and started using it. And that was really fun. And she already had interactive followers. She already had people who were interacting with her. She already had people who were communicative with her. So it was a no-brainer really just to go for it. That meant that I had to stay in the same alignment as what she was posting, which was lifestyle stuff, which was fine because I was working with all brands from fashion, beauty, lifestyle, the whole way across. And I was able to stick with that theme, but I knew where it was going. I knew that Natasha, the entrepreneur, would be birthed out of this page sooner or later. She would grow from this page like the pearl in the shell. And that she would come out of it, thinking of Botticelli now, aren't I? And she would become something. And I said, but how do I do that? So I knew I needed to use this audience to grow this audience, scaled it to 1 million, injected my brand. I now have 3 businesses. I'm a best-selling author. And I was able to let people know how I could help them, hence being, a leading mindset coach. I was able to do that. So now it's at nearly 2 million followers. And because of that, I've been able, the doors that have opened have been incredible. So I would always recommend going in at the top if you can, because it's like having a door open to you. So for anyone that's listening, thinking, where can I buy a page? Well, the best place to look for them is on like hashtags, pages for sale, Instagram pages for sale, selling my Instagram account, those kind of hashtags. And then when you do that, or just ask around, or just offer somebody who doesn't really post anymore. Just be like, do you really like your Instagram? Can I buy it from you?
Yeah. And I think that your investment wasn't even that crazy at the time, right?
No. Well, it was nearly 6 figures.
Oh, wow. My numbers were really off from my research team, but that's amazing. Like, it's such a cool strategy. And I can see like personal brands and businesses using it. So that's really cool. But tell us some strategies in terms of how you scaled from 50K to almost 2 million followers now. What was your strategy?
There were so many strategies. Okay, I'm going to just go for like some of my top 3 things that we did, that we still do, that we're scaling now at like 150,000, 200,000 a month.
Oh my gosh.
We're going up exponentially. My trajectory is big, but it needs to be, because I need to hit 100 million people. Why do I want to hit 100 million people? Because I need to be able to serve 100 million people. It's like when people say, I don't care about money, but you should care about money, because the more money that you make, the more you can help other people, the more philanthropy that you can do, the more you can give scholarships to people to your courses, the more you can help others to get onto your courses, because you're reaching more people, because you're paying for more ads, you're paying for more exposure, etc.
Yeah.
So it's the same with Instagram, where people say, I don't care about followers, but then people won't know about you. Your message won't go very far, because Instagram is the new business card. You're an absolute genius on LinkedIn as well. So LinkedIn's not my platform. That's your platform. But I know that acts also like a business card. If they find you on one of the platforms and you have a massive following and really big vibe going on, people will respect it. They will come to you and say, she's reputable. I trust her. I trust him. I'm going to trust him. I'm going to follow him. I'm going to buy from him. But they won't buy from you if they come to a page and you got like a couple of thousand followers. They just will kind of swipe. It's a bit like the swipe left on Tinder. I don't know, one of these apps.
Next.
No, they just don't want to see it. They don't trust it, but maybe they would if you just had a few more followers. And so that is so important, is having big numbers. So what do? We did so many things. We posted generic content 3 times a day while we were growing. So what I would do is we did a 2-to-1 method. I have my 3-2-1 method, which is bulletproof on how to gain new clients, leads, and accelerate your business. And that is all in my programs that I have in my ecosystem. This is a great tip, which I'll just tell you right now. It's the 2-to-1 method. And it's so simple. Anyone listening can actually apply this. Get your Instagram ready. So what you do is you basically post 2 posts a day, which are generic content, stuff which is called go viral content, stuff which is going to make other people go, wow, what is that? And it's not about you. This is stuff which is about a similar area that you're in, the same niche that you're in, or niche, the same one. And it has to be stuff that people will automatically like. So when you're scrolling through your feed and you double tap on a really cool quote, or like a super cool car with like a quote over it, or like success mindset tips, I write a lot of them and they go viral, but things like this, that you double tap naturally. What we're looking for is a natural double tap, a share, a save, a send to story, a comment. All of this is where you go viral, because if you gain heaps of likes, comments, views, shares, all in the same 10 minutes or 1 hour of posting maximum, you will probably go to the explore page, because Instagram will deem your post as a super cool, popular post. And then it will show it to other people who might like that kind of content. And then you go to the explore page. And so we would do that. We would post 2 of those either side of my main post each day. So
and key to that is no branding, right? No branding really on those posts. Was your face on there, or was it just
cute animals? It was like everything around everyone else. But it was Some of it was completely generic, like the sweet animal thing, like cute little puppies playing. But some of it was in keeping with my brand. So quotes around, like I said, mindset, or, quotes on how to scale your business on social media, things which I would eventually release my own products on. And so we did that. And, we still do that because it gets really big eyeballs on your page. The crazy thing is sometimes we have ads running with content which has nothing to do with me. It's just about growth on social media or how to get your mindset right. And then we just bring them to the page.
Yeah.
And that's a great way. So that's a really a quick way to get some numbers on there. But so we did that method 2-to-1. Another method that we did was we used every single feature, and we still do this, guys. We use every single new feature that comes out. Let's just hit on the story for a second. Every time on a story, a new sticker comes out, we're using it. Because that means we're going to get noticed by way more people. Every time you swipe and you see on your story, you've got story, reels, live, photo booth. Photo booth's the latest one right now. So we'll be using photo booth because that's a new feature. And when you use a new feature, it means it's not saturated. And a not saturated market means you stand out, and you want to stand out. So that is the place to go viral from very quickly. Use the new features. These are a couple of things that we did.
Oh my gosh, these are incredible, incredible tips. And the new feature thing is not something people usually talk about, especially using new stickers and things. These are things people don't really think about. How about paid shoutouts, engagement pods? I know those are really popular on Instagram. What's your take on that kind of stuff?
Okay, so look, this goes into two boxes. Influencer marketing, and then who's in your little black book. So in your little black book, my little black book, we have 250 million followers between me and them. So I have 2 and they have, or nearly 2, and then they have the rest of it, 248 million. That means whenever I am releasing a product or a service, the launch buzz around it is through the roof because we have already fought the war before we've even got to the battlefield. We've already won it because everybody is promoting my product in advance before it comes out. So it's sold out on the day if it's an actual e-commerce product. But if it's actually a service that we're offering, they're already in the lineup. They're already in the next time, join next time box. It's incredible. So that's your little black book. And if you do that, how do you do that? If someone's thinking now, okay, wait, hang on, slow down. How do I get those people? You build your network. Your network is your net worth. Build it. Get to know people, get out there, start doing other things for people, offer them value before you ask for something.
Yes.
Say, look, hey, I could do this for you. Would you like this? Or would you like a free product? Can I offer you this? Can I offer you that? When you start getting to know people, networking, getting out there, making friends with the right people, adding them to your black book, this is where your net worth grows from. Believe me, I work with such incredible individuals from Grant Cardone, Lewis Howes, Jesse Itzler, Damon John. I mean, they're such fantastic people that have been on my show or I've been on theirs. And, some we continue to work together. And the point is, when you do this, you have such amazing links. Imagine now if you had some of these people and you had a product that you wanted to promote and you could get these kind of people promoting your product. Or in your line of work, you had a heap of people who are massive influencers in your area. For example, you're in fitness. Tammy Hembro, she is so hot. Love her vibe. So imagine her promoting all your fitness stuff. You just know it's going to get massive numbers because she's got 10 million followers. So, and she's got a really good, if you look at her interactions on her things, loads of comments, loads of likes, etc. That's what we're looking at. So you just know that's a really good person to have in your network. Now, if you're on the other side of it, you're just starting out, you don't have the connections yet, then you have to do paid influencer marketing. 100% invest in this. It is priceless. Having loads of influencers doing exactly the process I just talked about that I do with my buddies. You guys can do that. You can pay them. I would still do influencer marketing if I had to reach a certain criteria of an audience. I would 100% be doing influencer marketing because I started as an influencer. So I know the power of the swipe up. I know the power of a post. I understand how much money it makes for the brand. So yes, coming from both sides of it, do it. You don't have to pay an influencer that has a 2 million following or something like my following. You don't have to do that necessarily. You could go for someone with 20,000 followers who's been on Instagram for 5 years and she has some amazing comments and likes and her fan base love her. They're going to buy from her. So believe me, you don't always have to go for the big bucks. You can do it smaller. My final tip on the shout out thing is this. If you want to just grow quickly and you've got a 10K following, okay? Go to someone who's got a 20K following and say, hey, do you want to do shout out for shout out? It's called SFS. That's free. And so you shout out each other on your stories or on your posts. That's such a great way to grow.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. These are incredible tips. And back to the networking piece, I just want to call this out for my listeners. What she's talking about is social currency. It's social capital. She was saying she does things for her network first. Like, for example, you invite them on your podcast and you promote them on your page. Already you've gained some social currency with those people because now they, even though if they don't realize it, subconsciously they know they owe you something because you promoted them on your pages, you had them on your podcast, right? And then now if you have a favor later on, they're more likely to say yes because you already provided that value and asked for nothing in return. So I think that's a really important lesson. And Natasha, tell us in terms of social media, like what resources do you have available? Do you have anything free that you can provide or do you have courses on how to grow a Instagram following?
Absolutely. So if you go to my bio, there is always a link there to one of my free programs and how you guys can learn how to grow your following in a 3-step free process that gets you prepared. That's the foundation for the main 12-step process where you're really going to explode and grow your Instagram and scale it. The main thing is to scale your business on social media. The same way that I grew my following to 1 million followers and $1 million in 1 year off the back of being unwell and healing myself. In that first year, I came back with vengeance. You can do it too. And so it's so easy when you know how. That link is in my bio. And if you don't see it, DM me Insta course and I will have my team send you some amazing free resources.
I personally want to take your course because I'm like nobody on Instagram yet. I'm just growing it now. I feel like I met you for this reason. I feel like your learnings are going to teach me how to blow up my Instagram and then I hopefully can blow up your LinkedIn and we could just dominate together. Natasha, I'm excited.
Yes, babe. Love it. High five.
Okay, so let's move on to mindset. And the way that I'm going to segue into this is to talk to you about trolls and haters, because I imagine with 2 million following that not everybody is positive on your page, right? So have you encountered trolls and haters as you've, become an influencer and gotten more attention? And how do you combat that negativity?
So I actually don't really focus on it because first of all, it's few and far between. Secondly, there's on Instagram, you can block keywords. So I have blocked keywords like fat, anything racist, anything rude, anything obnoxious, any words that I don't want to see or I don't like or that are offensive and rude. I just have them blocked. So you can block keywords. So I've blocked all of those. So on the comments, so I don't really tend to see that. When they come through on the DMs, usually my team filter it first. But if it is some kind of hatred with a person who's got no picture on their page, usually it's like keyboard warriors, and they want to come through. How I've always dealt with it is don't deal with it. I just keep it afar. I don't let it in. It doesn't come into my psyche. It is so far from me. I'm here. That's there. My aura is protecting me. I feel strong. Whatever's going on around me is up to them. And I just don't have time for it.
Yeah.
Don't let it in. It doesn't affect me,
Yeah.
And you just get on with your life and just realize that they're not paying your bills. What they're saying doesn't matter. What they're saying is only to bring you down. And who are you anyway? Are you Jude Law? Because if you're Jude Law, I'll listen. If you're someone who's actually achieved something, are you Tony Robbins? Talk to me. But if you're not someone who is of a very, very high level, I'm just not interested in hearing it. Now, if you're a friend and you have something to say, that's constructive criticism. But here's the thing. In life, always remember this. If you want to say something to somebody that is for their benefit, and it has to be for their benefit, not for your personal gain or coming from a place of jealousy, if it's coming from a place of love and you want to help them, you just always leave them feeling elevated. So if you leave a person after saying something a bit neggy and you leave them feeling good, but I promise you, no, I'm doing this for your own good. I'm saying this because, your hair was sticking up like crazy in this video and it just, you honestly just brush it down next. I swear to you, but you're so beautiful. I promise you, you're gonna glow. Everybody loves you. There, we're leaving them feeling elevated. But if you go in just with an insult and you leave them feeling down, you have not done a good job as a human being.
I think that's right. I love the fact that you're saying like you just block it, out of sight, out of mind. keep your aura pure, fire your villains, keep things positive. I think that's great advice. Okay, so let's move on to your book. You have a book called The Action Plan. It's all about the law of attraction. You say you can implement the law of attraction in 1 hour, which is incredible. And I was reading your book, and in the first chapter of your book, you recommend to take a cold shower. You basically say take a warm shower and then end it with freezing cold water. And that's one of the first exercises that you give in your book. So you obviously think it's a big deal. Do you do this every day? And what's the benefits of a cold shower?
I absolutely love it. I can't say that I do it every day, no, because I definitely chicken out. I still chicken out, but we're all a work in progress. But yes, I advise it. I do it as much as I can. And why is it so beneficial? Because it's so good for your circulation to have a freezing cold ice shower. It is so good for your body to go through this temperature change. Cold water is so much better for you than warm water. There are so many proven scientific things. Wim Hof explains it so perfectly, and I've quoted him in my book so many times on his breathing exercises and, ice cold showers, things like this. It's so brilliant for your health. It is so good for your immunity. I think having an ice cold shower has been one of the reasons that I have stayed so away from flus and things for years.
Wow. So interesting. I've never done that. I've heard it so many times, but I'm such like a hot shower kind of girl. I need to switch it up, I think. I'm going to try it.
I used to be the same, by the way. It's really hard, but you just basically have to say, here's my warm shower. And now at the end, I'm going to go blitz, or just do a workout. And when you're super hot, that's when you have your ice cold shower. That's easier.
Ooh,
when you're really hot, because then you'll jump in for like a minute, then that minute extends to 3 minutes. When I'm in the gym and I'm like working out downstairs, I'm like, okay, I'm gonna come back up. And then when I finished, I'm like, yeah, I'm ready to get in the shower and have an ice cold shower. If you calm down with a cool down, which you're meant to do after a workout, then you're probably not gonna want an ice cold shower. So there's different ways.
Yeah. That you heard it from Natasha. Try a cold shower. Leave me a review. Let me know what happens. So let's talk about negative thoughts. I know that we have about 40 thoughts a minute in our brain. That's a whole lot of thoughts. And if I remember correctly, 90% of our thoughts are negative. So that's a whole lot of negative thoughts that are continually in our head. So let's say we have this problem where I'm sure with yourself, more of your thoughts are positive because you've trained your brain that way. And same thing with me. Most of my thoughts, honestly, I think are positive. I'm really optimistic.
Oh, yeah.
And
I love it.
But I think that's honestly from just years and years of being optimistic is you have to train yourself, right? And so for those people out there listening where most of their thoughts are negative, what should they do when they find a negative thought that's just like spiraling out of control and they're just going down this rabbit hole of negativity? How do we turn that off and kind of make it neutral and positive?
The first thing that you want to look at is you control your outer reality. So everything you're seeing in your outer reality is because of what is going on in your inner self-beliefs, in your inner reality. So that immediately should be like, oh, so wait, this is happening to me because I'm thinking these negative things? Yes. You attract everything that you put out there to the world. Everything that you are thinking with a strong feeling has a chance of happening. Negativity and positivity have the same power. It's up to you which one you choose. You don't have to choose negativity. You can choose positivity. But likewise, if you dwell on a negative situation, you will just bring that about. Like attracts like. Everything began as a mere thought. And so if you are trapped in a cycle and you are stuck where I was, when I was unwell, when I was divorced and on the floor and just felt, I've got no money, I've got nothing, what do I do? In this negative place, it's very hard to get out. It is, you sit there and you're like, actually, this is so shit. How am I going to get out of this? Yeah. But you can. But you can get out of it. You just have to start thinking in a different way. And let me give you some science behind it. If you're stuck thinking negative things, just remember this. RAS. Your RAS is your reticular activating system in your brain. So it's in the lower part of your brain, okay? Your RAS filters around 2 million bits of data a second. It filters colors and sounds and smells, everything you see around you, and everything sensory. And what does it show you? What does it reveal to you? Your RAS reveals to you everything that you deem it as important. So if you are thinking about how fat you are, your reticular activating system is going to continue to prove to you evidence that your belief system about being fat is true. So it will show you pictures of really thin people who make you feel bad, or pictures of loads of food that make you want to eat more. It will show you things around you to prove that your belief system is true. So if you quit the victim mentality and you stop and say, no, I'm changing this mentality. I am thin. I am beautiful. I am worthy. I am powerful. I am loved. I am worthy of being respected. Whatever it may be, you change your belief system. You show your RAS, your RAS, that you have a new belief system. It will then show you evidence to prove that your new belief system is true. Do you ever think of a yellow car and like it comes into your mind and you want to buy one and you just see yellow cars everywhere? That is your reticular activating system in action. Yeah. That is the science behind manifesting. One of the parts, neuroplasticity is a massive part of it. But switch your thought process. Key thing to do. Just train. Every time you have a negative thought, you stop, don't dwell on it, acknowledge it, say hi, hey, and then let it go. Swap to a positive one and just start thinking of the positive version of that negative thought and focus on the positive one and smile with it. Because you've got to now come back with double, because if you put any emotion into this guy, you need to put some real positive influence into your new thought so that you manifest new positive outcomes versus old negative outcomes, which keep repeating themselves and copying and pasting themselves in different formats into your life.
Yeah. So, okay, it sounds like you're saying in order to counteract these negative thoughts, we need to retrain our brain. And it sounds like you're saying we need to do this through positive affirmations, because you had mentioned, basically you said some affirmations in a present tense and you say to kind of use that. Let's take a real example quickly, because I think it'll be beneficial for my audience. So let's say, and you can pick which one it is. Let's say you are having trouble finding a relationship or you're having trouble finding a job, either one. And you just keep, having trouble. You can never find a boyfriend or you can never land a job. What are the things that we should do to kind of change our reality and change what we see and how we feel about the topic?
For sure. Well, the first thing you want to do is you want to use a method like meditation or something to go into a deeper state of altered awareness in your brain. For example, right now we're in beta. You want to go deeper to do the work in like alpha, theta. Alpha or theta are deeper states of consciousness. So through my meditational behavioral synchronicity, you actually go deeper. And that is a combination. It's trademarked. It's been taught around the world. It's been taught now to over 500,000 people. It is a method which combines meditation, breathing exercises, anchoring, mantra, reframing of the subconscious mind in altered states of awareness and neuroscience. Can you imagine that as a concoction?
Oh my gosh.
When you bring that together, you work on these limiting beliefs, because those two things you want to work on. There is always a reason why you're not attracting the thing you want. It's because you have got that belief. Oh, I'm not good enough of getting that job. I'm not worthy of having that partner. Like you were just saying, imagine if somebody had that. So that is the most common thing. Those two things in of itself. And so what you do is you do this method every single day and you go deeper and you go deeper and you go deeper and then you work on it. Most people only need to do it 1 or 2 times. And actually my free program, my mindset elevation, you will actually learn how to get rid of that self-limiting belief to manifest what you want. So you can also get that as well on my Instagram. You just pick it up in my bio. It's the easiest place, I guess. But also look, for anyone that is having those thoughts, the first thing you want to do is counteract it. So here is your thought that you're having about you're not worthy of having a dream partner. You need to switch that and say, okay, is that true? First of all, is it fact? No, it's just your opinion of yourself because you're not loving yourself. Your self-worth is not equating the partner you want. You're dreaming of this partner, but deep down, you just don't think you're worthy of it. There's something going on that you just don't think you're actually going to get her or you're going to get him. You just don't believe they're out there. It's just too confusing. Maybe they always want you for your money, or maybe they always want you for the wrong thing, or they don't want you. Whatever these thoughts are in your head that you've created, maybe some of them are true, but you've got to work out what's fact. And then have a look and say, now let me prove that this is not true. So actually, I had a partner 2 years ago who really did love me in every way. It was me that didn't want to carry it on with them. So there's a little fact to prove that this is wrong. So we're proving the opposite thing. So we find a couple of examples that prove that what you're saying is not actually true.
Yeah.
You don't think you're worthy of the job. Well, You definitely got the last one. You were the very first person to get that. It didn't work out. Who cares? You got it at the time. You were worthy of it. So you're worthy of it again now, whatever it is that you want to create. So you swap those over. And then we put the new affirmative words into your psyche, into your world, which are, I am worthy of being loved and respected. I am worthy of having a mutual loving relationship. I am worthy of getting that promotion I want. I am worthy of a successful business. I am worthy of financial abundance, whatever the opposite of this thought is. So now think of it. And now every single day, you just dwell around these thoughts. It's not just a thought though. Thoughts have a vibration, but it's not just about these thoughts. It is about embedding them as a feeling and really going deeper with it, imagining it, closing your eyes and saying, what does it feel like to actually be the person who has this new thought of being worthy of relationship? Well, he's in one now. This guy is now in a relationship. And what does he look like? Well, he's always happy. He's glowing. Everyone's telling him he looks good. Do you ever find you're in a new relationship and they're like, you're glowing. What's different? And you're like, yeah, it's the person I'm with. So you want to make sure that you are using all of your feelings and the positive feeling around this new affirmation to multiply the feeling, to do it. And then when we do my MBS method, we anchor it in. We anchor it into a place somewhere in our body and we hold it in there. And every time you have this negative thought, we pop back to our new one. But you have to do it it's better to do it in a deeper altered state of consciousness for this because it's more powerful. Scientists prove that it's more impressionable when you're in the alpha and theta state. So
interesting.
Switch it, go for the affirmation, feel the affirmation, believe in the affirmation, own it, and then visualize it every day. Every single day, when you're walking along the street, just kind of like you're looking up at the sky and you're just feeling good, imagining this new positive thing. Even if you don't believe it, you're going to trick your brain because your brain doesn't know. If you are feeling it as real, your brain doesn't know if it's real or not.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, this is such great advice. I feel like I could talk to you forever. I'm going to put all of your freebies in my show notes, so don't worry about that. Everyone's going to be able to find that. The last question I ask all my guests is, what is your secret to profiting in life?
My secret to profiting in life is love yourself and always wake up every single day and say to yourself, how can I serve my audience today? How can I take care of one person's needs today? Because you just need validation from one person. You just need to think of one person. How can I serve them today? How can I better somebody else's life? How can I use my knowledge, my skill set, everything I've been given to serve my community? What would serve them better? That is the key to profiting because money is a byproduct of success. Everything you want is a byproduct of that. So always look to serve other people. True manifestation is when you are serving others. You are manifesting something for the benefit of others. And leaving a legacy on this planet, leaving a mark for people thereafter you, that you are leaving it in a better way than you came into it.
That's super, super powerful. And where can our listeners go to learn more about you and everything that you do?
Okay, guys, so I'm just going to, instead of directing you to like 10 places, come to my Instagram or my Clubhouse. It's Natasha Grano on everything, and you will find me there, and then we can connect. And I'm so excited. DM me if you have anything that you want to say, if you want, all my free programs are on my bio. If you want to get involved and actually learn to manifest everything that I've been saying and erase your limiting beliefs through my meditational behavioral synchronicity method, my MBS method, then I suggest joining my mindset elevation program because we do it live every single Saturday with thousands of other manifestors. The testimonials are life-changing. People have gone from no home, couch surfing, to their dream home with their dream partner. I mean, the stuff we hear, this lady last week, Vanessa, she had lost her job. And she came and spoke about this last week. She'd lost her job. She's been doing my practices for 6 months. 6 months at the start, she had nothing. She just lost her job. She, in this time, in 6 months, managed to manifest her dream job. She managed to manifest her, debts getting paid off, a check that arrived to cover her debts, but it was like £5 over the exact amount. It was mind-blowing.
Oh my gosh.
She manifested it exactly. She used all my methods, which work because they healed me and they heal others. It's the missing secret. It's the stuff they don't tell you in the law of attraction books. And I have a law of attraction book, but this is the missing secret, which just takes it further.
I love it. I love it. I highly recommend you guys go check out Natasha's stuff. She's a real deal. And we're also going to be co-hosting a lot of Clubhouse events together. So if you guys are already following me on Clubhouse, you're going to see a lot of Natasha as well. So Natasha, thank you so much. This was such a great conversation. I can't wait to come on your show and keep getting to know you. Thanks so much for your time.
Amazing. Big hug and loads of love to everybody who has been tuning in today. Thank you so much. Peace and love and blessings for the rest of your day. Go smile. Go own it. Go win.
Thanks, Natasha.
Thanks for listening to Young and Profiting Podcast. If you enjoyed the show, please write us a review or comment on your favorite platform. Nothing makes us happier than reading your reviews. We'd love to hear what you think about the show. And don't forget to share this podcast with your friends, family, and on social media. I always repost, reshare, and support those who support us. You can find me on Instagram at YAP with Hala or LinkedIn. Just search for my name. It's Hala Taha. Big thanks to the YAP team as always. This is Hala signing off.